Good evening. Welcome to the Fridley School Board session, Tuesday, July 21st, 2020. I would like to just remind school board members joining us via electronic means to mute their microphones or their computer when they are not speaking. Also, when they wish to speak, please state your name and wait to be recognized. I will determine in which order that you are going to be recognized and should speak. And then please unmute your microphone, speak, and then mute when you are finished speaking. All votes will be conducted by roll call. Each school board member should wait until their name is called before voting. This meeting is being recorded. Access to the recording will be made available on the school district's website as soon as is reasonably possible. Please rise as we do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And with that, do I have an approval to accept, or a motion to accept the approval of the agenda and suggestion motions and resolutions?
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion approved by Adams, seconded by Carnop to approve the agenda for July 21st, 2020. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion passes. Carnop,
Yes.
Adam,
Aye.
Carol Thornton, and Ivana Stark. With that, the motion passes. I am now taking nominations for the board chair position. Does anyone have a nominee?
I would like to make a nomination. I'd be honored to nominate board member Predu to the open position of board chair.
She says second.
Second. There was a nomination by Carnop, seconded by Stark, to nominate myself as the acting board chair. Are there any other nominations? Secondly, are there any other nominations? Third, any other nominations? With no other nominations, we will vote via roll call. Adam,
Aye.
Carnop,
Aye.
Stark, and Thornton. Carol? So, thank you. We have a motion by Carnop, seconded by Stark, to nominate Donna Perwito, myself, as the board chair for the remainder of 2020. Now I am taking nominations for the vacant school board position for August through November. This will supplement the end of this year through August and then November. Do we have any nominations?
I move the motion to approve Ms. Gao Nu Shong as the interim board member for the remainder of this year to November elections.
Is there a second?
I second.
Are there any other nominations for board? Secondly, are there any other nominations for the board position? Lastly, any other nominations for the board position? With no other nominations, we will vote via roll call. Adam,
Aye.
Carnop,
Aye.
Perwito, aye. Stark, and Thornton. The motion has passed by Adam, seconded by Carnop, to nominate Ms. Zhang to fill the interim board seat position from August through November of 2020. congratulations. I just wanted to make a note that we had so many nominees. We had a whole slew of them. And I just wanted to let you know that all the rankings were completed by each board member individually at home, submitted to the superintendent, Dr. Heil. Upon review of the rankings, 4 out of the 5 members chose Ms. Young as their top ranking, with the 5th member ranking Ms. Young at number 2 on their rankings. So we are very pleased to announce that vacant position is now going to be filled. A reminder that there are going to be voting for the board position on the November slate. So please, if you're interested, apply, and we will have voting in November. And now we would like to continue on with superintendent and staff reports. Dr. Heil?
Thank you. Good evening, Chair Perito and school board members. It was a pleasure. I just want to give an update to you and our community on work that has been done on reopening our schools again in the fall. So as I'll be sharing this, there will be some actual photos of actual planning sessions that we've had socially distanced and masked over the last few weeks. So our directors in our district has been meeting weekly to discuss the reopening alternatives since the quarantine at home started. On June 24th, there was an extended leadership team of buildings and grounds, transportation, technology, nutritional services, and principals. They met for initial planning on increased quality of distance learning and a hybrid plan possibility. Then on July 8th, we had a second meeting with that same large group, and it included our non-public principals as well from within the Fridley district area to continue planning for the various possibilities. On July 15th, there was another meeting with principals, directors, and teacher leaders where they continued their discussion. The next day, on July 16th, there was principal directors and representatives from other bargaining groups as well set in on those discussions. And then we are hoping to hear coming up by July 27th from the governor to hear more from Governor Walz on requirements for the fall. What you're viewing, the previous slide, we do want to give a thanks and a shout out to Dan Wald, who created our partitions for our school board meetings. So we're very pleased with that, and we thank you for that. At the governor announcements, we've been working hard, and we're going to work even harder and quicker. So principals and their teams will continue to finalize those plans, and district will continue to gather input from staff. Operational teams will simultaneously continue to order signage, sanitizing stations, and other COVID-related items. Our goal is by early August, we hope to be able to communicate with our families with how it will look in the fall. And our custodial staff, which has done it since the closure of school, will continue to perform daily deep cleaning of any areas occupied by staff each day. We do have rules that all staff to come in buildings are masked. They do have to sign in. They're limited in entryway that they come in, as well as we use sanitizer quite a bit and clean off quite a bit. Our teams also worked on looking at maps for each individual building, where they mapped out areas where we will have sanitation stations set up throughout buildings, where our signage will go in each building, and signage will be available for us in different languages, as well the flow through the building. So there's some ways where it'll just be one way you can go, so we don't have students and staff crossing each other, as well as areas where we'll need plexiglass head, for example, not just here, but some of our receptionists and clerical areas, as well as face shields and other items that we may need. So there's a lot of work that we're doing with this, and we look forward to soon giving our families the information that they need on what it'll look like for the fall. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that update. We are going to continue on with our business action items, and we're going to talk about long-term facilities maintenance. Mr. Hoffman?
Good evening, Chair Perito, members of the school board, Superintendent Heil. We're at that point in the year where it's the annual approval of the long-term facility maintenance 10-year plan. We've talked about it the past few board work sessions, kind of where we're at and where things go with this. So this funding is used for health and safety needs as well as deferred maintenance needs. It's a per pupil driven formula that the state provides this funding for. Portion of it is levy related and a portion is state aid. It's not adequate to cover all of our needs, and that's reflected in the budget in here. We did have a facility study recently done that all of our buildings were assessed and it detailed out. Here's kind of a 10-year plan to keep our buildings current. So it does propose a deficit at the end of 10 years, but that's kind of the reality we're faced with. So this is an annual approval. This is what gets us access to these funds. Included in the board packet is the statement of assurances that we have to submit saying we will be using these funds as allowed per statute. It's a 10-year revenue projection that shows our calculation of what we anticipate those revenues to be based on enrollment, as well as our 10-year expenditure plan where we're identifying how we are planning to spend those dollars in the different categories. This is a budget that can be modified if we need to depending on how circumstances change. But right now, in order to move forward with the process, we do need board approval to be able to submit to MDE by the end of this month in order to continue to have access to these funds. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer those. Otherwise, I'll turn it over to the board for approval.
No questions? Do I have a motion to approve the long-term facilities maintenance plan?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Carnop, seconded by Adam to approve. Any discussion? And I will call the roll. Adam?
Aye.
Carnop?
Aye.
Stark? Thornton? All in favor? Myself, yes, aye. Purito, aye. And the motion passes. And you're going to talk to us about capital project levy?
Yes, so the district currently has a capital projects levy that was approved by the voters back in 2011. It's a 10-year levy, so we're getting to that point of facing a renewal. So this is an annual levy where we receive funds to help address our technology needs to make sure that we have adequate technology for our staff and students, as well as to continue to address those deferred maintenance needs that the long-term facility maintenance funding doesn't cover. So this is just one of those other revenue streams that help us do what we need to best support our students. So as we've discussed in the past few work sessions, this is something we want to look to renew and have extend and continue on. One of those steps in the process is to we're looking at going to the voters in November. So in order to do that, we have to submit what's called a review and comment to MDE. So that's a document that we're specifying the work we've done to identify the needs as well as how we intend to use those funds. The bulk of this is going to be the same as the previous one, so it's to continue to fund those technology needs for staff and students so that we're keeping the most up-to-date resources available to our staff and students, as well as addressing deferred maintenance needs that aren't covered by LTFM. And then we're also going to look at rolling in a little bit additional use for renovating and remodeling existing spaces. So if a program needs change, we have the ability to modify the space to better suit the learning environment, where right now deferred maintenance doesn't cover that. So it's going to help create a little bit more flexibility as those needs arise. So the first step then is to have the board authorize the superintendent to submit all the required information to the Commissioner of Education to request a review and comment on the capital project levy that, if approved by the voters, will be renewed at the same rate that it was previously authorized.
Thank you so much. Do I have a motion to approve the capital projects and levy renewal?
Motion approved.
Motion by Adam. Seconded by Thornton. Any discussion? I will call the roll. Adam?
Aye.
Carnop?
Aye.
Stark? Thornton? Purito? Aye. And the motion passes. Thank you. And now, Mr. Isaacson, if you would like to join us, we are going to talk about the Custodian Master Agreement.
Thank you, Board Chair, Superintendent Heil, board members. We have tonight for your review and approval the custodial agreement. That agreement reflects the same terms and conditions functionally that were approved for the other groups. And this was ratified by the unit and passed unanimously by that group last Friday.
Awesome. Do we have a motion to approve the Custodian Master Agreement?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Carnop. Seconded by Thornton. Any discussion? Adam?
Aye.
Carnop?
Aye.
Stark? Thornton? Purito? Aye. and the motion passes.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you. And now a motion to approve the 1921 agreement to provide special education.
All right, thank you. This agreement is a renewal of the special education and related services for staffing. Fridley School contracts with District 916 to provide related services for some of our low incidence services, such as blind, visually impaired, one-on-one nursing, orientation and mobility, and physical therapy. These are services where Fridley schools would not typically need a full-time service provider. So I'm asking this evening for the board to approve this agreement.
Thank you. Any questions? And does anyone like to move motion for approval of the 1921 agreement to provide special education and staffing?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Carnot,
Second.
seconded by Adam. So Adam,
Aye.
Carnot,
Aye.
Stark, Thornton, Pruitt, aye. So the motion passes to approve the 1921 agreement to provide special education and related staffing by Northeast Metro 916. And now we move on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda is all those action items which include routine action items, minutes of the regular board workshop, board meeting, work session held on June 16th, 2020, and the work session held on July 7th, 2020. Monthly financial reports, new contracts, amendments, leaves of absence, terminations, resignations, retirements, and the 2021 Student Parent Handbook. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Carnot. And seconded by
Second.
Adam. And I will call the roll. Adam,
Aye.
Carnot,
Aye.
Stark, Thornton, Pruitt, aye, and the motion passes. Now, we were going to do a report from school board members. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to hear Ivana. Ivana, do you want to try? Can anyone hear her? Do we know if they can hear her? I'm not sure. Did anyone else attend? No. No, I'm sorry. We are having some technical difficulties. So we are going to hold off and we will,
Suspend until the next meeting?
yeah, we're just going to suspend until the next meeting. If you have questions, please let us know before then. And Dr. Heil, student enrollment.
Yes, I would like to just share student enrollment as of July 13th. We were anticipating currently about 2,770 students, and our estimated budget number is slightly higher at 2,886, but those numbers are fluctuating daily, and I do think it'll be more solid once we are able to announce what school will look like once we reopen in the fall.
Wonderful, thank you. And I would just like to let you know about future board meetings and future dates. So our next public board meeting will be August 4th, 2020, with a work session at 5:30. Our next live board meeting will be August 18th, with the work session at 5:30, public forum at 7, and the business meeting at 7:30. And I would now entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion moved to adjourn.
Motion by Adam
Second.
and seconded by Carnot. I will call Adam,
Aye.
Carnot,
Aye.
Stark, Thornton. Purito, aye. And we are adjourned at 7:57. Thank you.